We're now joined in the studio by Hobart personality Alex Johnston, who's a great promoter of all things cultural and cuisine when it comes to our capital city. Hello, Alex. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, Ranch. Great to be mic'd up with you again.
It's wonderful to be back on camera with you after knowing one another for 20 years, and I know you've lived in Hobart for nearly 18 of those. Can you believe how much the capital city has changed and developed over those years?
Yeah, it's just extraordinary. I moved to Hobart at the start of 2003, and I guess in my mind I was going to be there for a couple of years and go exploring, but it's incrementally just been a better and better place to live, and a lot of that is about where to eat and drink. And obviously, I'm giving no clues away. I like doing both. So,
well, we like to speak to the experts on this show, so you are the man for that. Let's just take a quick look, though, at what has actually happened from a price perspective. Back in 2000, the median house price was just $120,000, which is hard to believe when you actually compare it to 2020 prices. The median there, $782,000. Pretty significant.
yeah, just extraordinary. I mean, my mum bought a house at just the absolute sweet spot, which is now worth more than double what she paid for it about the same time I moved there. So, yeah, it's just gone gangbusters. And I think it's because Hobart's such an attractive destination. We know all about the Mona effect, and that had an influx of visitors, but it's also given people clues as to, gee, this would be a nice place to live and work. And I think that's the key as well. It's a great place to work because you're never too far away from where you're based.
And tell us about that restaurant culture. Like, it has been so well documented that there are so many amazing places that people love to go and visit, and then they decide to end up living here.
Yeah, I think it's been a destination that chefs have wanted to work in, coinciding with Mona opening. I think that we've always had great produce, but now it's so much easier to tell our story. Social media came along at the same time as Hobart was sort of a destination, and that's really helped because now if you've got something great to offer, it's so easy to tell a lot of people about it, and good places get rewarded, and then there's strength in numbers. Good places breed other great restaurants. There's no danger in setting up shop next to another great restaurant. In fact, it's a blessing because if they're full, they'll come to you. So we've seen that happen across the city, little nooks and crannies with multiple great places to eat.
And a real growth in that boutique wine bar and brewery type business as well.
Yeah, there seems to be no shortage of an appetite for Tasmanian booze, and that's because if you're here for the weekend, you want to drink Tassie beer. You want to meet the person who makes it. So if you can set up a shop front where you give customers that opportunity to meet the person who's brewed it and tell them what hops they put in it, so much better than just cracking a can of something generic. So yeah, I think, and the premium price is something that we've been prepared to put on our products as well, and it hasn't slowed us down.
No. And so what do you see as into the future, some of those key developments and infrastructure projects that are currently taking place that will no doubt make Tassie, or Hobart in particular, an even more livable place?
Yeah, so we've seen the Midtown area really pop up, and that's sort of this between the CBD and the North Hobart Strip, which was always popular. Now those centre blocks, it's got the uni accommodation on Elizabeth Street, and around that is retail and bars and restaurants, and so that's an exciting place. I still think that's a long way away from reaching its potential. You've got hotels setting up, and they're sort of breeding little restaurants around them. They come with their own restaurants often, but little shops around those, and they're in sort of the extremities of the CBD. And then the big one's going to be Macquarie Point. I mean, it should have been, there should have been more action down there by now, but eventually it'll be transformed into something special that'll complement the waterfront so well. And the waterfront's just timeless, you know, that Salamanca Strip never gets boring.
So by the looks of things, property prices are only going to go one way then?
I imagine. I mean, you're the real estate expert, but there's always going to be good places to eat and drink, and I think people think about that. Moona's a great place because there's great restaurants around it. I'm living at Kingston. There's great places to eat down by the beach. People do think about food and, to a lesser extent, booze when they pick where they want to live.
Well, a way to a man's heart's through his stomach, so perhaps that's the way to their real estate as well.
I would imagine.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time today, Alex.